Bot Rix has correctly joined the channel.
We've got passion, we've got determination. Like, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
We always felt like our content was all about entertainment.
To be free and flexible and creative was really essential to what I wanted to make, and I didn't find a platform that did that other than Wix.
Okay, we're going to start this off on Minstrel. We've got Sharp down here in the bottom right, Ray in the top left. Normally, we plug the Patreon at the start of every game to get it out of the way, and obviously, we hope that we can convince you guys to join if you haven't already. But we also have a quick announcement with that. Artosis?
Yeah, so Patreon is basically switching the platform over to yearly as opposed to monthly subscriptions. So we just wanted to give you guys a heads up that as of November 1st, it will be switched over. This is something that they're doing. I think it basically, from my understanding, has to do with Apple and the App Store and stuff. But yeah, that's just something we wanted to make you guys aware of. So, you know, we do hope that you guys do sign on for the year. And there you have it. Yeah, thank you very much to everyone who has supported the Patreon. And that's at patreon.com/ASL English.
Yeah, so we appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much. And in this game, it does look like Protoss is probably going to come in here and try to do a gas steal. Rain is just outside of the main base of Sharp here. Now, Sharp, I always find gas steals to be the most interesting against Sharp. He is more inclined to just take his gas preemptively if he can. I think he's mathematically out of range at doing that because he made his barracks at that time. We've seen in previous maps where there's only 2 spawn locations that'll actually keep an SCV at his ramp just to try to stop that. So this is a transition opening-wise from the Sharp we've seen in years past.
Yeah.
He has chosen to go the course of the other Terran players in that he will accept the gas steal instead of risking any economy to try to prevent it, and then will instead play from what is generally considered to be a worse position, at least for the early game here in a TVP.
For years, he was the only pro that was forcefully like canceling an SCV and taking his gas if need be. In the last year or so, I've seen him more often just let the gas be taken. I think he's... Because he had some very bad losses when he was... Oh my god, I can't believe he saved that at 1 health. But he had some very bad losses back when he was always taking his gas. So glad to see that fix. You can see Rain's harassment here with the probe is really, really strong. And he's going to get it. Oh my god, I can't believe he saved that. I thought for sure he was going to get it as it looped back around.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be dead for sure. This is the conservative opening from Rain, a post-gas steal. I know we saw some players, I believe it was Snow actually, or it might have been Rain even, who did go for Nexus first after gas steal, but this is the one we generally would associate more with Bisu, which is to go for a gateway, another pylon, and then a Nexus. So you kind of lean on to the Terran in this position, force them to keep building defenses. They know that their gas you know, has been delayed considerably, and so this lets Protoss expand comfortably. Terran expands comfortably out of after that. Usually not much happens other than like the double or triple Zealot run by, which I think, you know, is evaporating quickly from the meta, as it's just sort of like, if you know how to stop it, then you win, so why would you bother doing it?
It was so popular for so long, and we've seen Sharp specifically lose to that in some bad situations. The Zealot gets forward there and checks out the command center has started, so he just wanted to make sure it's not some sort of crazy like Marine medic rush or something like that, and he has that confirmation. So yeah, you're right. It's the game just has to kind of slow down here, and we'll see where they want to go, right? Like right now, in this exact type of scenario, most Terrans are doing 3 factory. So I'm very excited to see if Sharp likes that as well, or is he going to go with the more standard 2 factory?
The Barons to one who knows where
the more
classic
classic
teams with life.
The 3 factory is a pretty interesting concept. I do feel like if this is around for a while, people will stop it. But it does seem like the 3 factory is probably a response from Protoss's maybe, in fact, getting their 3rd base faster than they really are able to do. You know, it seems like all of TVP, whether it's Nexus on 12 or Gas Steal into quick expand on both sides, have turned into faster, more action-packed games. I think that's because both sides have got a better idea of where they can engage each other on that front. And this is going to be a Citadel off of one gate. Dragoon Range is making.
Rain has been going for a lot of DT rushes in this matchup.
Yeah.
And we saw...
He actually...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Ertos. I was just going to say, he actually, I think, goes for DTs and PvP and PvT just on the ground more than anybody else.
You're 100% right on that. Less carriers, more DTs, and take from that what you will. But he used a rush against Rush, specifically on kickback, and got a quick win with that. And his... He's actually been doing it on ladder as well. I've casted some games of him doing this also on ladder. And look at this, He puts 2 proxy gates. So he's actually going to go very, very heavily with this. And it is the 3-factory play. Now, and he's actually going Armory as well with Academy. Academy, this is the one part of this that could end up being dangerous. But this is only going to be a 2 add-on on the factories. He's not going to have enough gas to go Academy and Armory and 3 add-ons, which means that it'll be more Vulture-based, which is a good thing for Sharp here, right? Like, if he can weather the first couple DTs through, you know, scanners or whatever it might be, he's going to have a lot of units, and he can make a lot of Vultures to lay mines with.
So, you know, he still has that probe over here. No doubt he's going to be making DTs. You could go into Arbiter before Robo off of this. That's a kind of crazy way to play. Or as Artosis would call it, crazy Protoss. That was the dude that came up with that. But the DT
Just lean into it, Tasteless.
Wait, did he do it? Hold on. Oh, please just actually check. He didn't show us what the tech was. What?
Yeah, no, he doesn't have any idea. He scanned there. Yeah, I think you're right. I would imagine that's Stargate. I'd be pretty surprised if it was anything else.
I don't think you make a Robo up there that doesn't look right. So he's got the DTs. Oh my God, he's gonna just go for a dive here. This is crazy. He rushes in. He drops 2 Dragoons. Not a bad trade for 1 tank. There are 2 scans available. I think when he did that dive in, he also could get to see the scanner. So 1 scan is going to take out 1 DT. This one can just shimmy over to the side. There is another scan available. Wait, is there? I think that's actually
he'll have it in just a few seconds. It was at 42 when we just looked at it, so he should have it just momentarily here. And he needs to use it now. There you go. That is excellently done. This should just straight be a hold, but he can't be losing that turret. Okay, good. Now the turret will finish. He can repair. Completely safe now. This is a big advantage to Sharp.
So he's going to try to run up again. Now remember that, you know, the more DTs you lose, I mean, this is a lot of gas you're dumping into tech that, you know, is not going to lend itself to any advantage later on. DTs, you know, it's funny, they seem like almost unstoppable until you have enough detection and you just have any kind of core army, and they're not great. They do a lot of damage, but they don't attack fast. So 1 DT is taken out. Now remember that, you know, the follow-up with this, since it is Arbiter tech off of just the 2 bases, is that you're milking the scans. So Terran feels like they're getting further and further ahead, but when it's time to get on the map with the Arbiter, it's a lot harder to get away with anything. And so this is the rationale for continuing to make DTs and trying to force those scans. So here comes another one now. I don't know if our observer's going to check, but just remember that Terran eventually has to move out. And if Terran like sieges up and doesn't have any vision, like no turret, no scan, your whole army dies.
Yeah, this is like, I think Sharp is going to be able to win with this push, right? Like, he should add 2 more or 3 more factories as he's moving out, but like, if he just makes a ton of Vultures and sends them across the map, he's got to know he has a much bigger and better army. And if he's just rotating around a little bit with Vultures laying some mines and stuff so stray DTs can't come in, I don't know how you hold this as Rain, right? You spent so much money on that and it just didn't do anything.
End the year strong at Planet Fitness. Get top-tier equipment and free fitness training. Join now for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime, and pay nothing until January 17th. Deal ends December 30th.
Planet Fitness is the official fitness center of the Orlando Magic.
I think the DTs had to do a little bit more here.
Yeah.
Again, though, if Terran is across the map, and you know he doesn't realize that the Arbiters are going to be here. You know, Terran could very well expect. Remember, there hasn't been a lot of scans to scout because of the DT, so you might think there's like a third base. In fact, he's going to go up there and try to check to see if this is a place he can push. So he may think there's a third base actually north of this. In fact, there's neither of these. The Arbiter's not here yet. The Zealots don't have the speed upgrade yet as well. The Dragoons are going to try to back up. I don't see any tanks sieging just yet. Okay, here we go. He's going to do it now.
Rain has to break this, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. I think that that Vulture flank was almost a thing of beauty from Sharp, but it actually ended up not doing anything. None of the mines connected, where this game might be very close to over right now. Rain is holding it so far, but it's not really a position he can walk out into. Now, he has an Arbiter here, and generally what you'll do is you'll walk one Zealot forward at a time to try to eat up scans, and hopefully deny a turret. And if you can do that, you can still win this game as Rain. But as soon as a turret goes up, like, see, here you go. He's running in. Okay, there's one scan, and he's got to bring another one in. He has to stop the turret. This is the main thing. If he can kill all those SCVs before the turret's up, notice how hard he's diving on that turret. He can't let the turret finish. You have to win this via slow.
The game ends because the Arbiter doesn't have any use at all. He probably should have sent these Dragoons down earlier to get in the way. He's going to send one more Zealot in here. He's trying to single file it. You know, he's not able to get in range there. Dude, I think Rain might just lose this.
Yeah, he should. He should. Like, this is such a good position. Oh, that's a good mind drag. It's such a good position for Sharp. Rain is trying to bust out. He has stopped reinforcements, and the tank count's actually pretty low. So I think tactically Rain has done a lot of things well, even though he didn't prevent that turret. Oh my god, a huge mine. But he actually gets a stasis. That is such a fast stasis. And suddenly, Sharp's position is destroyed.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. You don't have observers. Which, by the way, this is easy to forget if you're like just kind of, you know, your eyes glaze over as you watch the match, because there's almost always at the pro level an observer over the Dragoons. In this case, he's just using mind drags and basically clobbering the Terran because, you know, since there was no investment in the Robo and the observers, the stasis is early, the Arbiter's early, the scans, again, are low in number because so many were used on the DTs there and had to keep being reused to keep the turret alive. And so now the tanks are going to fall. And I got to say, like, Rain's looking really good, but Sharp is recovering nicely. Sharp has his third base up. Because there's no observer on the map, it's hard to ever move across the map once the Terran's pushed. Once you've had to go back and respect the position the Terran earned, you have no idea how many mines there are. And if the Terran's a good player, there'll be plenty of mines there. So it's not that you're never going to get arbiters with this, observers with this Arbiter tech. It's that you're not going to get observers quickly. So the observer tech should be coming. Yeah, there it is now. And what Ray needs to do is start to try to push out on the map, take as many spots as possible, like having this Zealot sacked over here for the probe to make the Nexus, and try to power up.
Yeah, I think macroing up heavily right now and forcing a take on that bottom left fourth base. These are really, really smart moves from Rain while he waits for those observers, because he can't just like roam the map right now. That would be suicide into the mines, and you don't want to be doing that. He is adding another forge, so he's like kind of recognizing that this is likely to go long. You know, if Terran attacks poorly or you get a great recall off, the game could end rather quickly. There's no way for Sharp to really kill Rain quickly unless Rain attacks into him as well. So it's kind of one of these positions where if they both play carefully, this should naturally turn into a very big macro game.
I got to point out something. I think carriers are really scary on this map. I think mass shuttle, speed shuttle play is pretty good. Arbiters are going to be frustrating for the Protoss to play with on this map.
Why is
it's
that?
The 5 horizontal lanes. It's just hard to move big armies around this map.
The war chief has instructed
you tend to
study
in a game
not
like
if you are tasteless. Not if you are.
Sent me here to the hub
He gets
of both
big
Tauren and
recalls. It's
Orc
the
cultures in
easiest way to move an army,
as
in
many
fact.
travelers as possible.
Well, you know,
and to
on
learn about the cultures
on the
of the
topic
barons.
of recalling, I don't think
Feels
this is the
there's
best
something to be
recall
learned from
map.
the most pathetic
The
of
natural
cultures,
and the
like
third base kind of
Quillbore
cover it already.
Centaur.
So a few extra turrets, and it's going to be tough to get
you
in
have
there,
done
or at least
well
it
in
should be
helping
easy
me
to
in
place
the
a vessel where you can EMP.
Yeah,
A map where your other expansions kind of add this layer, like another membrane to push through before the Arbiter can get into the main, makes recall a little bit tougher to use in an effective way.
100%, 100%. It's very different from a map like Dominator, where it's just like a ton of surface area. Here, and you can see Sharp is starting to put a couple turrets down. He's put some units down at the bottom. Really, that bottom lane is the only really clean, good recall area. So as long as Sharp's on top of that, the odds of a recall ruining him are pretty low, I would say.
File your taxes 100% free in the app if you didn't use us last year. Just file with TurboTax Do-It-Yourself by February.
So it's 4 base to 3 base. It seems like Sharp is going to set up at 6 o'clock. You know, we've joked about, like, who's really supposed to get this base? It's really not clear. I feel like the way that Rain's grown, Sharp can basically push through the bottom of the map and expand there and hit 2 bases at once. So positionally, this is going to be pretty hard here. I think what Rain wants to do is try to set up a counterattack. I think it's a pretty good idea. I'm not sure how feasible it'll be. Oh my God, the Vessel. We got to make sure, for Rain's sake, he does not let these Arbiters get EMP'd. Late game, you know, Mass Tank Vulture versus, you know, the Arbiter, Zealot, Dragoon is really interesting unless the Vessel gets the EMP. And then the Protoss will just lose the fight straight up. I don't see Psystorm anywhere, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't seen Psystorm, which is kind of surprising. I think he would start to get into that at this point. But Rain is rotating around through the center a lot. Yeah, it is. You know, he kind of had that weird risky opener, so he's got to skip something. Yeah. But Sharp is attacking really strongly, and Rain was acting like he was going to counter, and then he saw the bridge was too hard to break, as it should be. And now he's trying to... Oh, wow. Gets the EMP on one of those. And now he rotates around to try to stop this push, but look at Sharp's army movement. He's very, very good at figuring out when and where he can take an engagement. And this is definitely correct. He does not have a large enough army here to actually fight Rain's army. So he does a little bit of damage. He pulls back so he can't really be engaged. And he can rally more units up here now, but he shouldn't push too fast. This is a little bit too fast here. I'm surprised he set those 3 tanks up like that.
Oh my God, he just dropped an almost full energy Arbiter here. Doesn't seem like there's actually as much from Terran as I imagined. I guess there's a lot more mines and a lot less units now that we're actually getting a shot of this position on the map. He is finally getting the Templars in there. He has lost, I think, 2 moments where his Arbiter's energy could have been used a little bit better. It is acceptable to freeze a huge chunk of Vultures like this if it lets you just get the tank and surround everything and kill it later.
Now, we actually have... Ooh, was that... Oh, he actually missed the second High Templar. Trying to get something done with these vessels and everything. That was kind of weird, right? Because he left a lot of units at home to make sure the counterattack wouldn't work. And then he started to pull back, but then he overcommitted. If he had pulled his army back a bit better there, I feel like Sharp would be in a better position. As of right now, like, looking at the supply numbers, though, it's not terrible for Sharp. Like, he's just got his 4th base up towards the top right. He's got actually more supply than Rain right now. A lot of that is in Vultures, but he's still holding strong. You can see his macro is really on point this game.
This push in here, it just feels a little bit like an overextension from Rain. I know he's got a lot of nice juicy storms that he could try to cast down here, but I think he's losing too much of his core army. The 5th base is just north of here, and you can absolutely hit this from behind with siege tanks. And the fact that he's under, Sharp has control of the bridge, and then can slide up like this is a problem. You know, 4 base to 4 base is very bad for the Protoss. The Arbiters haven't really panned out. You know, it's funny. It seems like the first half of this game looked genius from Rain, but just the shape of the map, the way the game develops, makes it really, really tough to actually get away with anything Arbiter-wise in these narrow valleys.
Yeah, I think we have actually seen that kind of play out, as you've said. The Arbiters haven't been quite as effective, but he has kind of messed up a little bit on some of these stasis uses. But yeah, GG is called. Sharp played a really nice punish game there, but that's really what it was, right? Like, Rain did the offensive gas, and then expanded and just went very fast DT with 2 proxy gates, and just tried to kill Sharp, and he lost like 4 Dark Templars, I want to say. killing almost nothing. Yeah, he forces a few more turrets and stuff, but like he killed almost nothing with it. Observers were super late,
teach you.
and Sharp just kind of took control of that game.
Strawhide. He is human, but do not let that fool you into thinking
It was a
he
beautiful
is
game
weak.
from Sharp.
He is powerful, even though he may be
I
small.
do like Rain's
he can teach you
ideas,
about
but
more
yeah, it
powerful
seemed like he didn't
summons.
have
I feel
the
you are
final
ready.
piece of the
Go
puzzle
to him
solved.
now.
Like,
He's in
okay,
Ratchet,
you can
above the
stop their
port town
two-base
next to his
push, but
tower.
what happens when the game just becomes another PvT, but on a very specific map?
Yeah, well, when you get behind like that, right? Like when Sharp is actually able to block a DT rush. The thing is, it's kind of a funny thing. It reminds me a lot, actually, of Sulky, the way that Rain mixes in more DT rushes. Because, yeah, he loses some of these DT rushes. Like, this one totally didn't work. But here's the thing, it could have worked. Like, he could have gotten, like, almost a free victory where it's like, yeah, just Invisible Men just won the game instantly. But also, it puts Sharp into a position where he's like, dude, this guy does DT rush a lot. I have to have my detection on time. I cannot cut that anywhere.
Yeah, it feels like if you're just ready for the DTs, like you play a little bit more Captain Careful in that regard, then now what? Now you know you can't be outsmarted. And yeah, Rain just DT rushes a lot.
Introducing the all-new Buick Enclave. Experience effortless driving that invites you to let go.
Want to make your demons
and technology
more powerful?
that's in a class
It'll
of its
cost you,
own.
but you've come to the right
The Enclave
place.
puts you at the center of it all. Buick, exceptional by design.
Want to make your demons more powerful?
안녕하세요.
It'll cost you, but you've come to the right place.
도제욱전 실피드에서 EMP를 사방에 다 뿌려가지고 리콜 데뷔를 막았던 게 기억나요.
그런 뉘앙스를 보이면서 분명히 와 어떤 것도 내
여기 완전 나올 것 같아요. 와 이거는 지금 이때가 중요했던 것 같아요. 이때 이걸 막으면서부터 제가 게임이 괜찮아졌거든요.
잡았는데 자 이것까지 동원하면서 아래쪽으로는 뒤쪽으로 자 한 번 더 들어가네 더 들어가네요 한 번입니다 한 번만 멀리 막힐 것 같아요 근데 이게 위에 배치가
선택 가겠습니다.
이제 그 테란의 어쨌든 초반
이거 윤종이가 저를 첫 번째 픽으로 했을 때 기억하는데 근데 이제 제가 이 맵을 연습을 하면서 분석을 엄청 했었거든요.
투질러 드라군들이 SGV에 같이 가요 자 이걸 두발 당했는데요 완전 SGV 자 드라군이 체력이
근데 이거보다는 저는 S1 때 보성이 형 경기가 더 인상 깊은 게 서로 애결까지 갔던 경기였고요. 이제 양 중립 멀티를 깨겠다는 그 의지 하나로 했던 경기거든요.
아 여기 공격 성공시키면 먹는 데가 없는데요. 이게 지금 조기 목표는 6시에 지금 자원이 남아있는 상황이거든요. 언더비 쪽에서 상대하기 위해서 저는 좀 부담스럽게 많거든요. 네. 자 테크가 먼저 해야 되는데 테크 셋 남았습니다. 더 많은 병력 둘 남았어요. 하나 남았습니다. 마지막이 병력 페널티가 깨졌고
그래가지고 그때의 기억이 아직도 이때는 근데
Since this map came out, I think I've picked this almost every time against Protoss, just because it's like exactly what you said. The quadrants, like it's not that far to all the different bases. It can be a little bit wide. Thanks for coming down, guys. But yeah, it can be a little bit of a wide area to defend and stuff. But yeah, it's the easiest 5 bases that you can take, for sure. Right, like a lot of bases, because this is one of those 16 base 4-player maps, right? Because we've been talking a lot about 12 base 4-player maps like Retro or Fighting Spirit or something like that. And then the more standard 16 base maps. On the 16 base maps, normally there's a quadrant of 4 bases and the 5th base is really far away. Here, you got your quadrant of 4 bases, but then you can kind of take their 5th base and it's really not that far from your other stuff. So, that's. I don't know. I think if you're gonna play a big macro game, it's definitely comfortable for Terran compared to a lot of maps we've had over the years.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting observation, and I think it's very true. If Terran gets up to 5 bases as a Protoss, it's like, oh, we're never going home.
No,
dude, this is going to be so hard for me to stop.
Yeah, if you don't kill them really suddenly with something, you can't even kill them suddenly. It's just
wait, what is he doing?
Yeah, dude, he's gonna put a robo down. Oh God!
Wait, this is a blind?
Actually, this could be a DT rush as well. Let's see.
This is a blind scout to the left side of the map. So, in other words, if Terran is in the top right, this doesn't work.
We generally call it a 2/3 proxy, where it's like you're 2/3 of the time you're right, and the other third you just auto lose, basically.
So...
Okay,
Wow.
There is a
Do we have a Citadel started?
We're going to see.
Maybe he starts it here? Or is it a Robo?
Yeah, okay,
Citadel.
So this build, Tasteless, has... I now wonder if that account that I've been playing against is Rain's. There's been this S-Rank Protoss barcode on the ladder for the last few weeks, and the DT rush comes before Mines is done. You actually... The Protoss player will end up having like 13 probes, and it's the quickest DT I've ever seen, ever in my whole life.
There's no Dragoon range making.
Yeah, there's nothing.
So he doesn't even care.
No, you don't care. If this is that particular rush, because I've watched replays afterwards, because I'm like, how the hell? Like, literally, you can't get mines in time. You have to go missile turret.
Ratchet, isn't it?
And see how he's making that vulture?
Okay.
Like, if this is that rush that I have hit on the ladder multiple times, it's the craziest all-in ever. And you can see he's really trying to block this. He's trying to make it look like he's going to make a Nexus, but it's just going to be a fast DT.
For you to challenge. My 3
and I think this is the one where, like, if you go one vulture, add on mines, the DT is in your natural as mines finish. So we'll see. We'll see if it's exactly that. Now, Sharp is looking for this.
A fell hunter unaided. Perhaps Jorah Anderson can help you with this.
He's gonna find
him. As a cartographer in the
I'm
Undercity,
so interested.
Okay,
I've never quite seen this build.
I think he has enough time. See, he throws the eBay down immediately, and like I said, you need turrets. You can't defend it with mines if it is that build. Like, it's hard to read exactly if that is what's going on. Now, I love the Marine counterattack, by the way. Like, if your opponent is doing something like this, you can just attack with anything you have because they are not going Dragoon range.
He's going to have to probe drill here. He can take advantage of where the Templar Archives and Gateway and Citadel are. So that's weird.
Yeah, the first DT, you'll be able to clear this. But you know what? This is even worthwhile, too, because you're slowing that DT from coming down. He's trying to get mines. There's the turret. Here comes the DT.
This is crazy.
He's throwing down tons of turrets right now.
He's going to run by.
And see, notice how it's
going to go
here.
back.
It's here before the mines are up. And he turned around to kill that, so... Oh, my God.
Can he get this one? He skips it.
Yeah, he's
but
trying
there's nowhere to go now. He's going to be trapped in here now.
Yeah, that's pretty trapped. So it looks like a failure. Like, Sharp seems to have held it, but you can see how fast it was, right? Like, the DT was in the natural before mines were done. So if he hadn't turned to kill the turret, he actually could have probably killed the vultures in the mines. I think that there's an execution error here by Rain. Like, I think he could have done a little bit better than this. But now
I don't know if this is...
pretty screwed.
Well, I think the game is probably going to end here. Oh, my God. Oh, that's so funny. It doesn't block. GG. Okay, I got a lot to say about this. We already knew that he was more likely to go DT before these games started. He's kind of showing his ass too much, Artosis.
He's taking some risks. That is certain.
He is, there is some genius to doing too many, maybe the same or a similar type of risk twice.
Yeah.
Especially if the second time you do the risk, it's even a crazier version of the first one.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many more walking DT plays can he do? Probably none.
None. That has to be the last one.
Yeah. And at this point in time, Sharp is halfway there. I get why he would do it on that map specifically, because it's a bad map late game, so why not try something... I mean, I don't know if we're going to have anything cheesier than that in the series. I don't know if we even have a cheesier build than that.
That's the cheesiest build that I have ever run into, Tasteless. And I've lost on that specific build multiple times on the ladder. That DT is so fast, man. Like, normally if you go mines right after one Vulture, you can hold any sort of anything with that, right? But this one, as you saw, the DT was literally there, and Sharp has a really optimized factory. It's like, his factory is super fast, so a very all-in rush, completely fails. We're gonna go to Kickback as map number 3.
We are magic in the air, we are love, we are care, we are here for the ride, join the fun side by side.
Your small business has unlimited potential. Spectrum Business is built to connect you with that potential. Get fast internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and a mobile line, all for only $49.99 per month. That's life unlimited.
Okay, Sharp in the bottom left, Rain in the top left here. I'm getting the same vibes of the Rain Light finals. Where we had these really high hopes, and Rain, who I think is very capable, by the way, of playing a patient, relaxed style, has maybe been a little bit too stylistic and almost, tripped over his own reputation here, trying to not be that. I don't know. Again, it's too bad. It's not that what Rain is doing is bad. It's that, there is an element of chance or surprise that's part of these builds, and it seems like it's just not working. Sharp's style is too robust. The moment he scouted what clearly looks suspicious, no Dragoon and no Dragoon range at that phase of the game, he went, okay, I got to start to look around the map, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. It's something that I like to talk about sometimes, that like a lot of times your super strength is your super weakness. Hello, guy from Australia. We're Tastosis.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he really reminds me of Sulky a lot in this way, where we can talk about, his ass is out, as you said. I like that.
He's showing his ass, Artosis.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, first off, if he wins that game, we're like, oh my god, it's so brilliant. And there's certainly risk inherent in it. Like, if you're playing a long-term game with StarCraft, which all these guys kind of are, you're also building your image the entire time, right? You are taking some risks and everything. And there are some really... What is that? Let's cover that up with stats on Kickback.
Wait, yeah, let's put the stats on here now.
Is that a command center?
There's no way.
That would be the most insane command center ever.
No, it has to be a barracks.
Oh, you might be right.
Well...
I mean, you would never... Yeah, if that's a command center, I'm losing my mind, but...
What is going on? And the Observer hasn't gone back. Oh, please just go show us that building. There's an add-on?
Dude, unbelievable.
No, what is this?
Well, here's the thing. It's the Observer. It's the Observer versus the production, right? Because the production put a graphic over where you would see.
We know how these shows are made. They're supposed to be in the same room. Did nobody see this? I mean, that has to be a barracks. There's no... This is a Nexus on 12 map. Just show it again.
Yeah, okay, it's a barracks. Because he built it exactly where the command center goes. Okay, anyways, yeah, we can talk more about his choices to go Dark Templars a lot, but now Sharp is taking a rather large risk. He's making a lot of Marines right now. The most important thing is to not let the Zealot or Probe in here. He is going to get the 3rd Marine out probably just in time, but Rain might push. Oh, he already has 2 hits, man. He can do what he wants with his Zealot now.
Yeah, the Probe is going to be handy here as well. The Probe is a little bit faster than the Marine.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice snipe from Sharp.
That was an excellent snipe, because there's always a world in which the Probe slips by while the Zealot fights. So,
right.
Yeah, 2nd Zealot is coming down. He's got this good SimCity, so still going to try to micro here. Zealots come up, and yeah, ooh. This is such a good move. Oh my God, the second Zealot didn't do any hit there. Oh my God, that makes such a big difference too.
The thing right now to remember, everybody, is that Rain, from his viewpoint, from his vantage point, he probably assumes there's still a command center in one of the 2 free bases.
He might be a little suspicious just because that gas is late.
Yeah, that is a really late gas, that's true. And he would never do double command center or anything like that, but he should know in a second here, like, oh, okay, so even now, Sharp throws the gas down. We never had a Zealot go to the bottom base. The Zealots are just starting to really stack the damage here.
Yeah, they are.
What is the Zealot doing? He went around? He, like, shoulder bumped the Marine?
Oh, and he's going one base robo, man. Rain, this is a wild series. And now he sees the Marine move out, so this is still a little bit dangerous. But obviously, Reaver Tech is something that would absolutely destroy this build. Like, if a Reaver comes out, Sharp has to leave the game. He doesn't even get the option to stay.
He's got to get it out first. I mean, I feel like there's a window here where Protoss can do a lot of damage. He needs to use the probes to do the worker drill here. The Dragoons are decent, even without range versus the Marines, but you need to have them work in tandem with the probes. The probe wall is looking really good. Remember that Marines are actually very brittle, to the point where a little bit of extra probe hits and they get shredded. And at this point in time, you don't really care about workers as Protoss, because Terran has pulled workers too. There's 2 shield batteries. Oh my God, what a beautiful thing.
Trapping that Dragoon, but he gets the Dragoon out. Great targeting there on the SCVs. The double shield battery should be enough to save him. This does look like Rain is just, that's it. He's gonna run away with that game.
Okay.
Crazy game.
This is an interesting series, because I think the risky moves are almost the more impressive ones, but they're backfiring.
They're backfiring all the time.
The reason why Rain opened the way he did is he probably knows that there's a really high chance that Terran will go for double barracks rush, because that's a really Protoss favored map, because you can expand so easily.
Yeah.
And so he just basically behaves as if there's a likelihood of that rush happening. Even though he figured it out pretty late, he was basically fine. And when Terran do that double Marine rush with SCVs, there really is no way to get out unless you killed off so many of their probes that you're both kind of limping into the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's definitely a risky build there from Sharp. Can't blame him, though. It's just, that is a ridiculously tough map in this pool for Terran, the toughest.
Cut your tolls in half with ePass. And now, for a limited time, when you switch to ePass on the app, we'll cut your outstanding toll
map for sure against Protoss. So, okay, we're at 2-1 in Sharp's favor. A lot of cheese, a lot of aggressive, risky plays, all of them backfiring. Are we gonna get into some macro games, Tasis? That's what I know you and I really do want to see here at the end of the day, is some nice big macro games.
I'm sure we've got at least 1 or 2 coming here. Glad to see that Rain survived that. It's 1-2, guys. Coming up next is Game 4. We will be right back.
Map making, pictures, estimations of reality. I have no use for such things. In books, narrative, description. That is where truth lies. I would trade all the maps in this store for one book on the rise of necromancy, or a tale of the Dark Lady's triumph. Ah, I see that you are a warlock of similar taste to mine. Indeed, acquiring the Tome of the Cabal is a worthy aspiration. Did you know that it was once held within the walls of Lordaeron? It was vandalized, though, almost half its pages removed. Who would commit such a heinous act? That half is lost, though rumor says that it fell into the hands of the Centaur of the Thousand Needles. The rest of the text was to be transferred to Ironforge, but was lost in transit on the coast west of South Shore. Farewell.
Well, away we go.
Sharp scouted it just quickly enough.
You know, a fist pumping moment. It's kind of like, all right. Okay, Rain in the bottom left, Sharp in the top left.
So, Radion, I think it's a really great map. It's really grown on me. And honestly, I thought it was a pretty good map pretty quickly. Even though a lot of Terran players have been a little bit more negative on it, I think it's just a really fun, standard map. I think the layout is a really good compromise between the 12 base maps and the 16 base maps, right? This is a legit 14 base map, and all the different positions play really differently from each other. So it's just, there's a lot of interesting things that can happen here.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I like this map personally. It's made for some fun games to play on. I think it's, you know, you could package it in with the other few maps that are pretty standard but have a couple unique differences, but generally create games we're familiar with and can enjoy. And I think players that are new can still hop on these maps and have a fun experience.
Wow, and the SSL data, 7-6 in Protoss's favor. That's pretty good map stats, actually. I mean, it's a tiny sample size. Sometimes we see hilarious map stats where, like, we know the map is imbalanced in one way and it just won't show that because it's like, well, I don't know, man. Flash won 2 games here, so I guess it's actually, you know, Terran favored or something. But, you know, we're getting a fair amount of games on Radion. I actually wouldn't mind to have this map around for a while. They've been trying to make a really good 4-player map to kind of replace Polypoid, right? Vermeer was an attempt at that, and Vermeer stuck around for a while, but this was actually the try after Vermeer. Like, both of them were funded by AMD, actually, where they got a ton of pro gamers with map makers and tried to put together a map that would be, like, really well balanced, a good 4-player map. And Vermeer was pretty good, but it seems like Radion has done an even better job.
It's really important to have 4-player and occasionally 3-player maps cycled in and out.
Yeah.
Because most people play on 4-player maps. Remember that there are actually a lot of 2v2s in StarCraft. If there was ever any way we could get somebody back at Blizzard to just make a few improvements to Remastered, it would be to have competitive 2v2. I love 2v2 in StarCraft, but you need to have you know, a solid-looking 4-player map to have that. And you know, there are, I might be wrong, but there are, I mean, I don't know how many exactly, I don't have the numbers, but there are a lot of team games being played at any moment in StarCraft.
It's surprising, actually, because it's just a world I don't dive into. I know slightly more about...
a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like I know slightly more about 2 vs 2 in StarCraft than I know about League of Legends, which is 0. But, like, you're right. When I go to join a custom game, there will be a ton of, like, team games that are public lobbies and stuff. But
yeah. And 2v2 in StarCraft 1 is actually very competitive.
It's really good, actually.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, a lot of game designers are like, we're going to fix it, like they try to do in StarCraft 2, where, like, you could trade resources. I'm like, what?
That's the worst thing they ever did. 2 vs 2 in StarCraft 2 sucks.
Yeah, I'm like, just just give the guy his own minerals.
Yeah. Oh, I can control his units too.
And play a game. I'm like, why would you? What are you guys? You're bank transferring minerals to each other? It's insane.
Yeah, yeah, it was a bad idea.
It's so weird that they did that. It's so bad. It's like game designers like, look what I did. It's like, no, this isn't as good. And actually, I think the game's a lot more interesting.
Now,
I'm on a tangent here. We've got an SCV Vulture Marine Rush coming here, Artosis.
Yeah, so this is against a no-range expansion. When the Nexus is that fast, you know that there's no range. He checked on that as well, and you can rush it. This is an older version with only 3 SCVs. Protosses have been holding the 3 SCV version more recently, and one thing I can say, oh, that is an excellent block right there. He got a ton of extra damage on that Dragoon, so really well done. But what I was going to say there was Flash has been sending 6 or 7 SCVs as opposed to, well, I guess this is actually 4, so it's kind of in between. But yeah, I've found that this gets held more often recently. But it looks like he's crushing, man. Holy crap.
I mean, this bunker's going to finish, man. There's no way. The Marines are all alive. They're just going to run right in, and the Vulture lives.
Absurd.
Finance Chill. That feeling you get when you're on budget and on Cloud9. Let Finance Chill become your everyday state of mind. Tap to start your journey to a more chill financial reality. These are Ed Words of Wisdom by Edward Jones.
Look at that. He is crushed. He is crushed. That was like...
There's no way to even kill the bunker. I mean, with 2 SCVs alive here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sharp is worlds ahead. And that was actually relatively close. Like, he had exactly enough SCVs to block long enough to get the bunker up. So really well executed there from Sharp as well. Oh, he's so close to killing 2 goons.
He actually gets the pin off. The Dragoon barely kills that one. There is, I think, no world in which you can save this, but hold on a second. There's only 1 SCV. No, I'm sorry, there's 2. There was one hiding under the portrait of Sharp. So he just, I don't know if that was... I'm actually confused about what even happened there. How did that Dragoon not die?
Oh, it's like... Yeah.
Oh, did the mine kill the other mine?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
And he gets the Nexus. There's a Robo on the way, and he'll continue to put some damage down on here. Sharp actually sends a backup tank more than any other Terran in these types of scenarios, and he is doing that here. And it's going to get there just in time to really kind of play against these Dragoons, because 3 Dragoons will out-damage 2 SCVs repairing. And there are some little tricks of popping out Marines to reduce the damage that's incoming, but he's going to lay some mines. Oh, targets that mine down, really, really important. If you have any mines in front of the bunker while a tank is there, it becomes almost impossible for Protoss to kill the bunker. But
he's got 1 mine put here under the rubble.
Yeah. He does a really good job here. Like, Sharp has really punished Rain at this point. I'm honestly surprised he did a rangeless expand, because if you get scouted, like in a close spawn, like that punish we saw from Sharp, that was really popular a while ago against this. And then it kind of fell out because people actually were holding them, and Rain almost held it. It was actually a little bit closer at the beginning than what it looked like at the end.
Artosis.
Oof.
Oh.
But,
so, yeah, you have, like, 1 chance to try to do the Dragoons shuttling out. I mean, Sharp is playing perfectly.
Yeah.
By the way, this has been thematic with all the games today. It's once more a risk taker and a punisher.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe he had scouted the Terran at all. There was nothing that should have prompted him to try to do this.
Yeah. He's
going to try to...
Oh. Like, Sharp is delaying him like crazy. This 1-base play with the Reaver. If Sharp just makes some turrets, he produces units nonstop. Honestly, I'd like to see him land the barracks and make a couple Marines as well. This is all about just having enough units that they can't counter-bust you at this point. And he's going to try to run away with this tank, and I think he is going to get away with it. What? Okay. As long as he gets away with the tank, I think it's all quality.
We've got the shuttle coming up. And... I mean, the problem now is that I think Terran just seals themselves off and has an easy game. The Nexus hasn't even started. This probe's just now coming out. Rain will probably take 2 bases. I don't think this is 100% over, but it's close to 100% if Sharp plays correctly.
You have to block whatever Rain is going to do here, and you have to follow up with at least some pressure against the 3 Nexus. Because he's definitely doing as you described, like anytime you lose your base, it's either you like 1 base all in, which is pretty weak at high levels, or you break out, you try to keep a little pressure on your Terran opponent and make sure he's making turrets and stuff instead of factories, and you double expand.
So this is rough right now. The shuttle can't get in there and do any damage. Rain has skipped shuttle speed unless we see that thing start to really pick up as it moves around. which kind of makes sense. I think you're already so behind. You need to get another Nexus up here. And he needs to just take out... Oh, he hasn't taken a Nexus. He kind of sent a probe there and then pulled away. Okay, never mind. He's going to go back over here. I was going to say, I don't really understand why you wouldn't want a 2-base. Like, you're just going to...
Yeah, you can't play 2-base here. Like, if you play 2-base, you're literally counting on them, not really scouting what's going on and just attacking you, right? Like the third Nexus, you need to take the third Nexus because it might give you options later. Like, obviously, Rain is behind here, but if you sit on 2-base and then Terran just, like, very slowly macros up and takes the third, there's not really much you can do because you're not going to scale as well.
By the way, he did get shuttle speed. I stand corrected. We saw the shuttle moving quickly there. He's got the Reaver, so he actually went shuttle speed, double Nexus. About as greedy as one could ever be, which I think is the only way to play a position like this. I don't know what the SCV and probe count would have been when the fight was over, but the bigger factor is that Sharp got a command center up quicker and mined more resources. Rain did thread the needle with the Observer getting in between the two turrets and the Goliath to see the massive amount of factories being made. And from here, it's going to be just Protoss probably cutting probes pretty soon, throwing down gateways as many as
tank
possible,
is so OP.
and trying to win with Dragoons plowing into the army, and then the finesse of the shuttle Reaver play.
Yeah, he needs to take a very good engagement. You need to really kind of slow Sharp down and or crush the army. Because it's going to take a while for Rain to actually build up into a good fighting position. He has added quite a few gateways at this point. He's definitely got to make sure he gets Zealot legs going as well. And Sharp is like, his army will not be beaten if controlled correctly, right? Like, he's just got better stuff at the moment. But if you move too quick or something, that's where, you know, that's where Rain is able to really slow him down, because if you do move too quickly, suddenly a couple good Reaver Scarabs come in, the Dragoons come up before you're sieged, and that type of thing.
He's going to go for the dive in here. He sees the tanks are far out enough. He wants to send this first shuttle in to tank, and then put the other shuttle with the Reavers way into the back. Oh my god, where's it going to land? Okay. And he's just going to try to deal as much damage back here.
And it looks like he's actually maybe going to bust all the depots there. But he's going to lose the Reavers for doing this, I think, right? There's too many Goliaths out right now. I don't think he can do too much there. He actually finds a way out. Sharp unprepared for this move, but there is a missile turret there. Yeah, maybe he is just completely trapped at this point.
Yeah, when you go in that deep, unless, you know, the units that were dropped, a lot of times that first shuttle, usually it's 4 Zealots, and you drop them, and the Zealots just naturally clean up the turrets as they're looking for something to attack, and then you have an escape route for your shuttle, and you can kind of do this over and over, and it really inhibits a 2-base Terran from getting the position that they need to get, because behind this, you've already cut probes, you have gateways spamming out as many units as possible. And you can always take that shuttle and mix it in with the rest of your army. But right now, it's just Dragoons rushing into, you know, Vulture, Goliath, tank with mines. And there's enough tools at the Terran's disposal to usually control this in a way where it's hard to ever win. As the Protoss, you can see Sharp's control is really smooth. He kind of shifts tanks from the left, takes ones up from the bottom. He's separating the Dragoons from each other. I saw a shuttle. I did not see if there's a Reaver in there or not.
I think there is.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, but it gets targeted down super, super fast. Only one Scarab gets off, unfortunately. And Rain has done a reasonable job considering what a bad position. Like, I felt like he microed pretty well there with such an overwhelmed army. But yeah, Sharp wins again, but another punish-based game. Another punish-based game. If they're close spawn and you go for the rangeless expand, you can be punished. If Terran pulls the trigger and they're doing a regular factory expansion, they can get down there and kill that Nexus most of the time. So,
you know, it's weird to see Rain bomb like this again. This is very, very reminiscent of the Light series where he fell apart. You know, even this game, this was a blind Nexus. What was it, before Dragoon?
Before range. Before range.
I'm sorry. Okay, so Dragoon and then Nexus and then range a little
to attack Terran? Or do you keep it closed and expand to like the right side of the map, right? So you kind of control those lanes and he controls the center lane. Because the right and left lanes are actually stronger. Obviously, it's a shorter distance through the center. You think you have to open it up?
I think you got to open it up. You don't want Terran to